I think they made it. Yeah, they made it back.
Gaming and technology are the talk of the party here with EloTalk.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to EloChat, our podcast hosted here at EloTalk. My name is Justin, and here we talk about what's new and upcoming in the world of gaming, technology, and culture. And for this episode, I'm joined by the lovely Natalie.
Hello.
And our pal Ziggy.
What's up, EloCats?
And it's been a bit since our last podcast. So first of all, happy non-denominational holiday to everyone, because I don't know what's going on here. So,
what does that even mean?
I don't know. It just means happy holidays, I guess.
Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and all that.
Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa,
I've
whatever.
never heard it called that before.
I like to
American thing.
We like to make things complicated here at EloChat, so.
Yes.
Anyways.
Yes.
So, since our last podcast, there's been a lot of stuff happening in the gaming world, and I'm sure we'll get to that discussion a bit. But my first question for you guys is, since it's the end of the year, what has caught your eye in things that have been going on so far?
Well, recently, Dead Rising 4 came out, and I don't have a PS4, but I follow Dead Rising very closely. I played the first and second back in the day. Haven't played 3, but Dead Rising 4 has had a lot of it's mixed reviews, but overall I like it. So when I get my PS4, I'm getting it pretty much. So I can't wait to try it.
You heard it here. Natalie's a guaranteed buyer. So
that's right.
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing what you think after all these mixed reviews then, because it sounds like it's been kind of hitting a brick wall with bugs or something.
Yeah, there's some bugs, but it's fun. I don't know. They look like fun bugs from what I've seen. I've watched some walkthroughs and I'm enjoying it. I love it. I think it's hilarious. It's just chaos and zombies.
I'm just surprised there's so much bugs in it, considering how Dead Rising 3 had a lot of bugs. You'd figured they'd fix all that stuff, but
no, never. Why?
Maybe that's part of its charm. Who knows, right?
Maybe.
Why do we want to make a game that works?
Right?
No, I'm just kidding. Well, that's awesome. Actually, speaking of a game that has mixed reviews, The Last Guardian finally came out, and I've only heard really mixed perspectives, and it's really sad because I remember when they announced that they were going to be making The Last Guardian, everyone was so hyped for it, and then it just got delayed. I think it was even rumored it was canceled.
To be honest, I didn't even know it came out. I honestly thought it was delayed till the next century, and maybe honestly that's why it's been getting such mixed reviews, because I find a lot of games that when they do get delayed, when the finished product does come out, there's always a lot of disappointment, because it's always oh, this game was 7 years in the making and this is all they got. So,
well, it also got mixed reviews because of the AI interaction with the beast, and how the gameplay was kind of frustrating, from what I saw. And of course, I only saw a small sliver of the people that were playing the game, but I heard that it was just kind of frustrating. And people expected the game. You're right, Ziggy. I think when a game has a development cycle that surpasses 5 years, you're going to run into this problem as a developer where your hype is going to overpass the grandeur of what you can actually realistically produce. And I think The Last Guardian definitely hit that. And seeing how they kind of navigated that, and seeing how they navigate that as the reviews and people start finishing up the game, and as that kind of wraps up, I'm curious to see how that will look.
Plus, I think when you have a game that's been created for such a long period of time, a lot of the stuff that came out is not so fresh and new anymore, where other games have come out. So it's hard to keep up with everything when your game's been delayed for so long, right?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, The Last Guardian has kind of been on my mind recently. And another game, but we'll get there.
And for my own self plug, the game that I've actually been playing a lot recently was Tyranny from Obsidian Entertainment and Paradox Interactive, and I just recently released my review. Check it out, by the way. And it is such a phenomenal game. I'm obsessed with it. It's really, really good. It was good to be bad, so I like being bad. So it's honestly spectacular. I recommend it for everyone. The price point's really good too for what you get. I think it's $44.99 for you Americans, and it's honestly really, really good. And I suggest picking it up if you're into isometric role-playing games, and even if you're not, try it out. It's awesome.
Nice. Yeah. Be sure to check out Ziggy's full review on our website at EloTalk.com.
Yay!
That's self plug. I love December because it feels like everything super awesome is happening at the end of the year this year. And because, like, one of those things that is super awesome is that Star Wars Rogue One is coming out on Friday, and I am
Thursday.
Okay, Thursday.
Thursday for me.
Yeah, I am so ready.
Oh my god!
I got my IMAX tickets.
Oh, lucky! I have not been able to secure tickets yet. Well, I'll get there.
What?
I know. True.
Dude, it's
Star
probably
Wars fan.
sold out by now.
I know, right?
Oh, it definitely is.
Yeah, it's more because it's like a family thing, so I have to wait for everyone, and everyone's too slow,
Are you gonna go alone, Justin? You're gonna watch Star Wars Rogue One alone?
Forever alone.
No, I don't. No, I have friends. No, I'm
sorry.
Yeah.
see the family.
I mean, I'm really excited for Rogue One because it is set in the Star Wars universe, but it's not really following the Jedi, right? Which is a really cool aspect because all the other Star Wars movies that we've seen, it's always about, the One, the Jedi, and everything like that. Where here, it's more about, the Death Star and the plans, and it looks like, from all the trailers, it looks phenomenal, and I am so excited to watch it.
Yeah, and after LucasArts announced that they were cutting a lot of the canon from the series after the Return of the Jedi, when they were releasing The Force Awakens, I was kind of disappointed, but it allowed them to have a lot more creative freedom with their universe, and it's really cool seeing them establish more canon story and really cool media with movies with this movie, because this is taking place I believe like before A New Hope, so it's super cool to see how they can kind of like fill the gaps with these really interesting characters and kind of delve deeper into their story and make the universe feel more cohesive. It's super cool.
Right, but you know what? Even though they erased a lot of the canon, I like the fact that they're still going into a lot of the old canon. Like in the Star Wars Rebels, they brought Thrawn back for season 3. Sorry, spoiler.
Wow, spoilers!
Damn, dude.
And he was a big part of the books just after Star Wars came out, so that was really cool. I still haven't watched season 3 yet. I'm still trying to catch up, but I was so excited to see that, which is really good. And what's actually really impressive about the last Star Wars movie, Force Awakens, and this one is that there's female leads, which is really cool. And I think that goes a long way, considering like in the older Star Wars movies, it was always the male characters that were pretty much the lead on those.
Right, and I think they did a really cool job with Rey's character, and then I think they did a really good job of building a cast around Rey versus a cast that only exists to like support Rey, because each character has their own story, and they did a really good job of making sure that they have a cohesive cast with cohesive stories, but they keep the lead focus on someone different than what we've seen in the past 6 big movies, which is awesome. I think it's great.
Yeah, and you know what? the one thing that really pissed me off about the first Force Awakens was that there was no Rey figures available. I honestly thought
Oh yeah.
that when they came out, that they were like, she was so popular that all the toys were sold out, and I wanted to get one for Kara. But apparently they didn't make any because they thought that Finn would be the popular character, which
Really?
it was actually really bad. It actually got a lot of backlash. So of course with Rogue One, there's actually a lot of Jyn Erso's figure out there, which is cool.
Well, what's interesting about this whole thing is that I read an article on Screen Crush, and while the trailer was just like absolutely awesome, Star Wars fans unite, rejoice, this movie's going to be amazing, people are still kind of going after this like, oh, wait, the hero's a woman, and that's kind of a problem. And of course, fans and their fan casting were like, great, another woman lead in Star Wars, and it's like this is becoming an issue. So Screen Crush actually put like a compilation of tweets together, and some of them are just so hilarious, and they're kind of rude. I read one that was like, imagine a future in which a Star Wars movie has a male protagonist. Go ahead, imagine it. You're not going to get one. It's just like, wow. It's, I mean,
Wow.
it's pretty old, but like, that's kind of crazy, and why not? And some people are even saying, oh, great, Star Wars will have a female lead now, and Han Solo will eventually be a woman, and it's like, what?
Oh my god. What?
It's I don't know why. I don't know why people are going hard. And
Well,
I don't
actually,
know.
it's so interesting that you mentioned that too, because this has kind of been a problem with the science fiction genre in general. I mean, you look back on old science fiction novels, they all have, a majority of them have male leads, and science fiction has this tendency to like take the lens of a male most of the time. So it's really cool seeing not only a big franchise kind of take up the lead in shifting the lens to a wider, more representative audience, but they keep that lens in their supporting staff too.
What?
Because not staff, their supporting cast.
Right.
So
right.
because like Rey, and there was Finn, and there was like, it's just like there's a huge array of people that are represented in Star Wars now, and it's really cool to see that kind of narrative shift from only like a very male dominated story to one that encompasses more people.
And it's interesting because like they're also pulling away from all the main Star Wars plotline. Like we have the Han Solo spin-off series coming out, and they casted Emilia Clarke from Game of Thrones to star in it, which is going to be really big for that. And then, of course, they have possibly rumored the Boba Fett movie, which I'm super excited.
Oh my
The
god.
Fat Man.
Yeah.
Ziggy the Fat Man.
Right? So that should be really awesome. And, I mean, it's kind of like, with the Marvels and DC universe, the lineups, they have years and years planned of this. And, I've never been so excited to have so much Star Wars lined up for me. Like, it's a Star Wars fan's, like, wet dream. You know what I mean?
What year is it? God. Like, the Star Wars is back and relevant? What?
Star Wars has
True.
always been relevant, though.
No, I know, but new relevance, like
I
new
got you,
stuff's
Justin.
coming out? Okay, thanks. I'm glad that someone
I
understands.
don't know what he's talking about. Star Wars has always been relevant forever and ever. No fanboyism here, guys.
Nope, not here. No way. So I'm super excited for that, and the movie comes out, I believe, this week. So I'm so ready, and I'm sure I will let you all know how I feel later, but I'll wait. Actually, and then our last podcast, we actually put on the episode right the day before Pokemon Sun and Moon came out. I know I've been playing it. Have you guys been playing it at all, or?
Not me. I think Ziggy, did you try it out?
Yes, I definitely did, and I actually kind of changed my stance a bit, just kinda. So, if you guys remember, I was kind of bitching about the art direction of where Pokemon was going. Don't get me wrong, there's still some really ugly Pokemons that they created, and then there was Rockruff, and he was so cute, and I was like, oh, he's so cute, and yeah, and he had me there. Although I am very mad at the when my Meowth evolved into Persian, and that rendition of Persian was terrible.
Why? What happened? Or what I mean, listen, I'm sorry. I I don't follow Pokemon that closely. I know we talked during the last podcast about Pokemon, but I mean, I think they're so cute, but like what happened with this one with the
The new Persian is like this like cartoony cat with whiskers, and yeah.
Oh, so it wasn't like
Yeah,
Google it right now. I don't know.
it's a
I was so appalled. I that.
It's like an Alolan version of it. So the old school version is like Ziggy was saying, like very sleek, looks like a mountain cat. The Alolan one is a cultural reference. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head, but I do know that it's referring to some sort of like cultural
huh.
version of like a cat. I just can't place it right now. But yeah, it looks super different. Has like a fat face and it's like blue and looks kind of.
It's like a troll. It's like it trolled me. Like when I first saw it, I was like, "This is a joke, right? Like you're trolling me here, right?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't know." But you know what? Like the game has been really cool. It has some really cool aspects. I like some of the like the different mounts that you can have, which was really cool. Some of the mechanics I could do without. Like it's kind of annoying when all the other Pokemons ask for friends. You just have to like battle more and more of them. But I don't know. I've only gone. I think I only have like the first 3 gems so far, so I'm still playing it through.
And yeah, I've only I'm a huge perfectionist when I play Pokemon, so I've only beaten the first 2 trials.
Oh
I've
my
had this game.
god.
I've had this game since it came out, and I've only beaten like the first 2 gyms. So, I'm getting there. But it's a
Would
great.
you call
I think it's
yourself a Pokemon trainer? I guess
Oh my
everybody
God.
is, right?
Well,
Oh
I
my
find
God.
with the Pokemon games for me, like I'll play it in spurts, and like I'll play like the first 3 like gyms usually, and then I won't play it for like a month, and then I'll play it again, and because it is a grind, right? So like there's only so much, Metapods to kill at a time before you kind of get kind of annoyed with it. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. I've kind of been in that mode of playing it in a spurt and then stopping for a bit. Because I need to get over myself and just kind of continue the game. But I've enjoyed it. I think, like what Ziggy was saying, like the mechanics are really interesting. Some of them are kind of questionable, but I do appreciate how, because in the old games you had to use moves and put them in on a Pokemon in order to access certain areas like surf or fly. But they've gotten rid of that, and they now have like Uber for Pokemon. And you call a mount, and it like does things for you, which is I think is awesome, because then you can really focus on just your team and kind of leveling up the way that you want to without having to worry about carrying around that one Pokemon that's like your move slave, and you have them do everything for you. So that's nice. But yeah, I've enjoyed
Pokemon
I've
Uber.
enjoyed the direction. It's interesting. But yeah, Natalie, this is a prime time to get back into Pokemon. This is your moment.
I think
It's
I might
gotta-
have to just to keep up with like the hype. I don't know. People are
Gotta keep up
still, yeah, people are still like I'm still seeing guides popping up everywhere, like how to do this and how to. I don't even know. I saw something about like Festival Plaza guide and
Yep.
which shops
Yeah.
are the best, and I'm like, I don't even know what this is.
Yeah,
I should
this-
really just.
they also recently announced the Pokemon Go new Pokemon for that, so that should be exciting for those Pokemon Go players, because especially since it started dying off a little bit, it should help people get back in.
Oh yeah, that
Yeah,
did that died pretty quickly, did it not?
Yeah, I feel like, and correct me if you guys think differently, but I feel like it's so hard to make a mobile game that sticks. And
Such a good point.
I think it's just because
Unless you're a Clash of the
culture is
Clans.
just really different. Like in Japan, I feel like their market is really centered around mobile games and handheld games. And I think that our culture is more based on console, and sitting down and delving into a gaming experience. And I feel like Pokemon Go hit us really hard because it hit that nostalgia really well, and it did something really creative with mobile devices. But then it kind of dies off because it's just not a part of our gaming culture.
That's an interesting point, and I'll tell you why. Because I do sit on my ass all day, playing games and writing and editing and doing all this stuff. But the minute I try to get up and like be active and try to get back to my athletic roots, I don't know if you guys saw on Twitter, but I actually pulled my calf muscle over the
No.
weekend on my right leg. So like this is what happens. That's what happens when I decide to be proactive and go to the great outdoors and get some sun and vitamin D, and I go ahead and now I'm off my feet for like the next like 3 or 4 days. So.
I got a solution for your problems.
Yes.
Okay, so you get Roman to
That's my
get
husband,
you.
by the way.
You get Roman to set you up with a Dance Revolution
Oh,
set up at home, and then you dance
perfect.
like it's nobody's business.
Perfect.
Do you have neighbors under you?
No, I have a house.
Oh,
So-
nice. See,
Yeah. So
you could go
I
for
mean,
the whole
I don't know.
dance pad.
I don't know if that's a good idea because I probably like hospitalize myself, but
Well, you can get Just Dance. They have Just Dance on PlayStation 4 when you get it.
maybe. I think I'll stick with yoga to heal me for right now.
There you go.
Yeah, but that anyway, that was just my little stint. Like, yes, Pokemon Go, it really got people up and out and on the go. So like, you weren't sitting at home playing a game. You were outside, and like we talked in the last podcast, we would like drive down the street, or you were walking to the store.
Drive down the street. I don't think you're doing it
Well,
properly.
I have to drive down the street. Nothing's like super close to me. So not.
Oh my God.
I don't mean that in a literal sense, but like I would see like groups of kids just huddled together walking along the street, and I'm like, what are they doing? And they all have their phones out, and they're fucking trying to catch Pokemon. It's crazy. I mean, it's fun.
I lost 5 pounds playing Pokemon Go. I think I did like 55 kilometers in a week
Stop.
just
Oh my
walking.
gosh! Wow, what's a kilometer?
Great
Get
question.
out of here.
Anyways,
No.
moving on.
But yeah, and this is like our last little touch off too. Like I think I met a lot of people playing that game too, because I live close to Portland, and I would go into town, and there's a central like hangout spot in the city, and there were massive amounts of people there playing Pokemon Go, and it was incredible. It was so cool seeing all these people like coming out in droves and walking around the city, and not only like seeing the sights and getting introduced to new places around them, but talking with other people and playing a game that we were all playing together, and it was great. I thought it was great. So I hope that this new wave of Pokemon, if that ends up being a thing, really brings it back, because it would be really cool to see that.
Well, plus there's never really been a game that has really like honestly made like people like mayors of towns and stuff like that actually like write to the company to get them to remove Pokestops because it was causing problems of like pollution and stuff like that. Because like it was crazy. Like in Toronto, there was by the docks, there was like 5 stations by there, and it was like littered with like junk of just people's like garbage and stuff that
Wow.
they actually had to like make a Facebook group, and then people like actually came out and cleaned it. But it was crazy. Like it was just so many people. Like you literally have like 200 or 300 people in that one area trying to catch Pokemon.
Jeez. yeah, I mean, outside of, the hard problems, and I think that players have been really attentive about their impact on where they're at. Plus, I think they release like little notices in the game to like, don't litter, don't drive and play the game, stuff like that. But who knows where the game will go, to be honest.
At
Who
the
knows?
end, they should have just wrote "Stop being a jerk."
Exactly. So yeah, it looks like Pokemon is going well, and then another series that's going well that I've really indulged myself in. Final Fantasy 15 finally came out, and
Finally.
I am so tired because I've been staying up until 6 o'clock in the morning to like play this damn game, but it's so worth it. Oh my goodness! Like, for those of you who don't know, this game has been in development for technically, and I say that air quotes, 10 years. Because the first iteration of this game was called Final Fantasy 13 Versus. And then, due to the changes in development and kind of shifting of the goals of the game, it changed to Final Fantasy 15, which is what we got today. So, after waiting 10 years, so since I was 16 years old, we finally get this game. And, I think the biggest thing for me is like, I think a person that I follow on YouTube said it perfectly. It's like, this game is good. It's beautiful. It's fantastic. But was it worth a 10-year hype? No.
Really?
It was, yeah, I think it was definitely one of those things where this game tried to be super grandiose and do a lot of stuff. And at the end, they couldn't really give that level of grandiose that, self-inflicted, because we were all excited about the game and we wanted to see cool things happen with it, but there was room for improvement in some areas too. But what are you gonna do with 10 years of hype? Like,
Right.
what can you do with 10 years of hype?
See, and that goes back to The Last Guardian, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. Like, a lot of those games where they delay it so long, like, it doesn't matter how great the game is, it'll always take a little bit off because it's like, well, yeah, it should be this great because it took 10 years to make.
Yeah.
Right? So,
Yeah.
and that's where it's hard. And I mean, one thing that's neat about this one, I find it is like it's very different from the other Final Fantasies in terms of the mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
On that. So I mean, I don't, there's dudes with the car driving around and doing things. So I've only seen a few videos of it. And I don't know too much about it compared to the other Final Fantasies. I haven't had a chance to pick it up yet, but I've heard good things about it on that. And you've been enjoying it so far.
Oh yeah, I think I'm gonna enjoy it more today because I actually got sleep.
So Justin,
So
can you explain, like, okay, from some of the videos that I've seen and just the hype across the internet about it, what's the deal with the car and like these four dudes that look like they're in an emo band and they're like, I mean, no offense to my emo people out there, I'm emo myself, but like, what is that? Is that a part of the character? Is that a part of like the way that like, is it stuck in like 10 years ago, like, style? Or I don't know. Like, I'm just, it's very hard for me to understand the background or the foundation of Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
But that's just because I had never played any of them. So
yeah, so the four dudes. So there's Noctis, which is the guy with the black hair. He's the prince.
yes.
Then he's surrounded by three other guys, and they're like his personal guards. They're called the Crown's Guard. And they have this car that's like the royal car, basically. So the game is built around experience. The game is built around world building, taking personal initiative to kind of go out and explore the world, and it knows that you want to explore the world, and it knows that it's beautiful, and so it's using the car mechanic to kind of show you the world in a way that acts as both a character development like setting, and it also acts as a world building piece. So when you travel from place to place, you have the option of doing like fast travel, so you like instantly go there, or you can drive. And I recommend for those who are playing the game to always drive during the day, because you miss out on really funny, insightful conversation that happens to the characters in the car, and you get to see the world in its like huge splendor, and it's honestly gorgeous. Like, they put so much love and effort into the world building that it would be such a waste to not experience it. And then when when you put several hours into the game, feel free to skip it. Like, if you want to like just complete some side quests really quickly, like, skip it. But I always say, like, try to drive as much as you can, because you miss out on just a huge piece of the beauty of the game, if that makes sense.
Question for you. So if you're only driving around in a car, is the world like a Pangea where everything's attached to each other?
Yeah. The whole premise is open world. You can get from where you start to, it's kind of broken up into, I think, continents. I have to keep pausing because I'm playing the game with someone, and I haven't gotten past chapter 8, even though I put like 50 hours in the game. But I believe it's broken into continental chunks, but they're huge. Like, the first home continent that you're on is ginormous. It takes you about 10 minutes of driving to go from one end to the other, which doesn't sound long, but it's pretty long when you're just watching a game. So it's pretty big. But yeah, everything is open world.
So for someone that hasn't really played a lot of Final Fantasy games like Natalie, can someone just pick this up and enjoy it? Like, how does this compare to the others?
Actually, that's a good question, because this is actually my critique of the game. You have to do a lot of homework before you start this game. You have to.
Really?
You have to watch Kingsglaive, and you have to watch the anime Brotherhood. It's short, but you need to watch those two things before you start the game, or else you're going to jump into the game and you're not going to know who anyone is or what's going on.
Interesting.
But that sounds like about every Final Fantasy where nothing makes sense.
Well, sort of. I think there's kind of a trope in like both anime and Japanese video games where they kind of like to throw you in the middle of action and then they kind of explain it later. But with this one, it's like there's not a lot of pre-knowledge that they give you. Like, they kind of give you a little lore guide to kind of give you some background information, but it's not enough. So that's why you have to watch the movies and the anime. So
right.
That's
what I was kind of wondering, because, like, I mean, it just seems like you're thrown in, and I think I saw one of the first missions or quest, if you will. The guys are pushing the car because it broke down, and I'm just like, what is happening, and
yeah.
Why are they doing this? So okay, so you have to do your homework. You have to do a little bit of some research to get the basic idea of the story.
See, do you have to, or is it just it immerses you better into it? Because if you have to, and it's one of those things, then that's poorly designed, in my opinion.
Yeah,
because,
that's why it's one of my big critiques, because I feel like you have to. I don't think it's required, but I definitely think that you're going to be missing out on a big chunk of the lore and the world building if you don't, which is unfortunate. I think that aspect of the game was meant for Final Fantasy diehards, but they marketed this game as a game that anyone could jump into, but I'm not completely sold on that, just based on all that. But yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, I actually read something interesting about Final Fantasy 15 in terms of the amount of copies that have been sold, and I don't know if you guys have heard or know about this, but over the past 10 years in the making, the game has been in the making for that long, fans are happy, that it's here, and that's great. But in Japan, in comparison to the previous Final Fantasy games, this one within its first week, actually did not sell as many copies, which is really
Huh.
interesting because it's been so hyped up. Everyone's so pumped about it. But compared to like, let me think. I think Final Fantasy 13 in its first week sold like 1.5 million copies, and right now I think Japan in Japan, um, it's like 690,000 or something like that as of like a few days ago,
Oh
during like
wow.
like in its first week. So I read this like I read this on, I forget what website, but I thought that was really interesting because you could tell the dynamic is changing in terms of like how people are buying games and when they're buying games. I think a lot of people are waiting, for
Mhm.
reviews. They're watching the YouTube playthroughs, and they're watching the 10 things you need to know before you buy. So people are a lot more cautious now than
I
ever,
also think I think there's many factors into this. I mean, I think a lot of people were actually disappointed with 13 as well too. So I think, and then when there's a game 10 years in the making as well too, and games are expensive these days, and rightfully so because I mean they need to get paid as well. But I think when you had a game like 13, which put a lot of people off, I have mixed emotions about 13 itself. But I mean, if you take a look at the Final Fantasies, they've gone a long way. They've went, they went from turn based to and they tried a few things differently, like in 12 and in 13, and now in this one as well. So I just think that when you have a game going for such a long time, um, you know, and your last game wasn't that great for some people, it might kind of die down the hype a bit.
Yeah, the unfortunate part of it, and especially when it's a long franchise too. Um,
right.
so, but at the end of the day, it's I think it's a great game. I think it's fantastic. I think it's super fun. My own personal opinion. And I think that people that were put off by 13 should definitely give 15 a try. It's very different than 13. I know that a lot of people were disappointed by it, as you were saying, Ziggy. So I think, and rightfully so. I think that there was a lot of stuff that wasn't delivered in 13 that could have been. So hopefully 15 changes the dynamic and brings Final Fantasy back into a popular limelight. But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
But enough about my rambling about this amazing game and franchise that I love too much. um, we also had again, speaking about like the end of the year, there's a bunch of people giving out awards, and Game Awards actually just happened on the 1st. And I know that for me, I don't know how you guys felt, but for me, like, I was kind of underwhelmed with the the like, not only the selection of games but just like the winners. I was just kind of like, eh.
Yeah.
Nah.
I think some of I mean, Game of the Year, Overwatch. I love Overwatch, and I'm sure you guys do too. A lot of people love it. A lot of people are playing it. But for it to win Game of the Year, I don't know. I'm on the fence about it. I'm on the fence about it. But I have to agree. Um, some of the choices were kind of underwhelming. They were good, but they were underwhelming. But honestly, I don't know what other games could have fit in some of the categories. So
So I mean, I think Overwatch was definitely a strong candidate for Game of the Year. But my thing is where was Witcher 3 on there?
Yeah,
yeah,
Like
exactly.
that
Thank
is
you.
huge. Like
Oh my god, I was so annoyed that it was not even on the list. That game is amazing. They did such a good job with that game,
yeah.
in my opinion.
No, it was gorgeous. It was beautiful, but I don't know. I don't know. It's insane because like, I mean, if we talk about like the winners and the categories, like moving on from the Game of the Year, Best Studio, Blizzard, rightfully so. I think that's
Yeah,
I think that's fair. I think that's definitely fair because Blizzard has they went hard and they did such a great job with Overwatch in general. So I'm not surprised by that at all. And some of the other
Yeah.
selections I wasn't really surprised with either. It was like, all right, that was pretty well deserved.
I mean, I think it was kind of silly that Overwatch won for best esports. I mean, they only started to kind of have an esports near the end,
Yeah.
and there were so much more other games that had a stronger esports following at the time.
Well, I mean, the other ones on the list, like Counter-Strike, that's a huge one. Dota, League of Legends, like those are huge, like huge established esports scenes. And yeah, I totally agree with you, Ziggy. I think that Overwatch winning best esports game is a little. I mean, granted, this was a part of the fans' choice, like awards part, so I think that
True.
there's like a bias from an audience, especially when you have a game that generates so much hype and so much like content.
Right.
But yeah, I totally agree with you. I think that Overwatch winning best esports was a little weird. I don't know why it was even on the list, to be honest, because it doesn't really have an established esports scene, in my opinion. So yeah,
Speaking of The Witcher 3,
mm-hmm.
it did win best role playing, like best RPG in terms of like
The expansion did, right?
the expansion, the what was it, Blood and Wine?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of cool, and I think that was well deserved too. And
I mean, it's probably because The
gorgeous.
Witcher 3 did technically come out in 2015, and maybe
True.
that's why it didn't win.
True.
But like, I still think it should have gotten better. I don't know.
What's interesting too? Best family game, Pokemon Go. Like, I don't think mom and dad are gonna head out with.
Actually,
That's where you're wrong.
with
That is
Josh
actually
Billy.
where you're wrong, Natalie. A lot of parents actually played Pokemon Go,
Are
and a
you
lot
kidding?
no, I'm not.
No.
And a lot of parents actually played with their their children. It was actually I actually kind of agree with it because, like, honestly, everybody played it. Like, I've seen people's grandmas play it. Like, it was
No
hilarious. Like,
way. Oh
yeah, you'd
my
walk down the
God.
street and everybody's looking at their phone, and then you just look up at them and you smile because you know exactly what they were doing. Like, honestly, it was a phenomenon. Like, it was ridiculous. Even though it only lasted like a month to a month and a half, it was like, honestly, like, I've never seen a game do anything remotely close to that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
affected such a wide audience.
Yeah,
So
and
I'm
I
going to
was
disagree with you, Natalie.
I was working at an office, just to give you some perspective, Natalie. I was working at an office full of women that were mothers, and a majority of them played Pokemon Go
Wow. That's awesome.
with their
Hey.
kids. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's great. It's just I don't know. That's interesting. It's interesting that we're in this time right now where like we have game awards and then Pokemon is considered like a family. Pokemon Go is considered a family game, and it's funny to me. But
Yeah.
what do you guys think about? And I'm kind of just skipping ahead, but what do you guys think about the most anticipated game that won, The Legend of Zelda?
I am so
Oh, what?
happy. I love Zelda so much.
This is gonna become a thing with you, Justin.
I know.
I am so. I love it. I mean, it looks absolutely gorgeous, though.
Yeah, all these games are taking this really big shift to open world, which I think it's just going to be the next big trend for a while, or maybe for a longer time, because we have more powerful systems and consoles and stuff, so we can do more stuff. But I think it's going to be really interesting. I'm trying to keep my hype down for this game because I don't want to be disappointed. Well, and realistically though, because like you see things that happen with things like No Man's Sky, and even with Final Fantasy 15, like if my expectations were too high for that game, I would have been really disappointed. And I'm trying to keep myself in check and remember that this is Nintendo. I don't really know how they're going to do with an open world game with a big part of their franchise, and
True.
I want to be cautious. But at the same time, it looks really good.
So I would just like to say that Zelda sucks, and
Whoa.
and I just got fired from EloTalk. No, I'm just kidding.
I thought you were serious for like
No,
2
Zelda
seconds,
is
and I was like,
awesome.
get out. Get out.
Yeah, right. If I said that in a sentence, I would get fired from EloTalk.
No.
But no, it looks really good. On that, I don't know if it's the most anticipated game for me, but I think it's up there for it.
Well, the runner ups or the runners up, whatever you want to call it. I honestly, but this goes back to like,
Oh,
I
know what
love,
you're gonna go.
yeah,
Red
you know what
Dead.
I'm going to say, right? Because you see it on there. It was on the list. Red Dead
Oh.
Redemption 2. Like,
Yeah.
why not? Why not? I mean, okay, Legend of Zelda, it's not really like a reboot per se, neither is Red Dead, but Red Dead, we didn't know until like probably I think 2014 where it was kind of announced that Red Dead Redemption 2 was gonna come out, and they were talking about making it, but like that's my most anticipated game. Red Dead
Yeah.
Redemption 2. It totally, like, hands
Yeah, but
down.
remember, most anticipated, it's not like best reboot of game, right? Like
No, it's not true.
I was going to say, I think the problem is that Red Dead Redemption hasn't seen a new game since 2010. I think that's when it came out. And then it's isn't it only for console?
Yes.
I mean,
As of
granted,
right now,
so is Zelda.
As
So
of
is
right
Zelda.
now, yeah.
As of right now, and then it'll probably come like 5 years later on PC because that's what Rockstar does, right? So
Whatever.
Yeah. But and also just like with all the media that's been produced for Zelda, I think in comparison to the like very recent announcement of Red Dead Redemption 2, I think Red Dead Redemption 2, like its hype is going to build up.
yeah,
That's true.
and I agree. I mean, the thing
I
with
agree.
Zelda is that it's not like Zelda hasn't been producing games. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I honestly I haven't played Zelda since like the Wii version, the Twilight Princess or Twilight.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
It's
it's been a while. And
Oh my god.
But-
For me, it's been since the GameCube.
Wind
my
Waker?
Wind Waker?
God. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so long ago. What is that? That was like, wait, I think I was in middle school. Oh my god.
That was in 2002.
That's so long ago. I feel old.
Yeah.
Shit.
See, I'm looking
That's-
forward to Kingdom Hearts. I don't know why it's not on this list.
True. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Like God
that's
of War,
a good
like
question.
God of War, that's like saying I'm looking forward to Assassin's Creed. Like, who cares about God of War? I'm done with God of War. I want some Kingdom
I
Hearts.
kind of am too, actually.
I'm really excited for Horizon Zero Dawn though.
It looks sick.
It looks great. I'm
Yeah.
just saying. But yeah, why isn't Kingdom Hearts on the list?
I don't know. It's interesting.
Like, speaking of another game that's been in development for 10 years, like,
True.
that's one of them. That's a big one, too.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, funny story. So, I actually haven't played a lot of Kingdom Hearts. I played the first one. And I tried to figure out the storyline. That was a mistake. Now
Oh,
Now I
boy.
understand why people are so confused as to what's going on. But my gosh, oof, there's a lot happening in that story.
Yeah, there is. And
It's like
there
trying
was.
to understand Ghost in the Shell. Psst.
Oh my god.
Hey, if you didn't hear our last podcast where we talked about Ghost in the Shell, be sure to check that out.
That was our third episode. Yes. Right? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, so overall, game awards kind of meh for me, kind of questionable, but there was definitely some well deserved winners, but like
I agree.
I just kind of meh this year. Maybe it was just a meh year for games. I don't know.
But are you opposed to Overwatch winning best game of the year?
That's such a hard one.
It
It's
is.
like it's like yes and no. No, because they did a real. I feel like they did a. I feel like Overwatch is a really prime example of what a game studio can really do to promote their product in a really good way, and get rewarded for it. But it's also like you need the money for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And Overwatch is also just it's a very. I'm not a big fan of FPS like multiplayer games, probably because I need to get good. But like it's. I don't know, especially with all the work that, especially like indie developers put into their games, and to just try and tell a story and make it like artistic and all sorts, like break that narrative down of like video games are art. I don't know, like Overwatch is definitely not like it's a pretty game. It's definitely a pretty game.
Yeah.
Has really good lore to it.
It
So,
does.
I don't know. That's a tough question.
I agree.
I'm fine with it winning. I couldn't really think of any other game that really, came up to me and be like, okay, this is game of the year. Except Tyranny.
Yeah.
I absolutely love Tyranny, but I would still put Overwatch above Tyranny. But it was really good. I think Blizzard had a really good year. Like it had a super strong year.
For sure.
And it'd be interesting to see how they're going to follow up with that next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, and speaking of like things in the future too, there's a lot of stuff that's coming out.
Yes.
A lot of new things that are happening.
Yeah. Oh my God, this week alone, coming up, there's Batman: The Telltale series. Episode 5, the finale, is coming on Tuesday, and I'm absolutely pumped for this, and I'll tell you why. Because I think we touched on it a little bit before, but this is such a different version of Batman, and I'll just summarize really quickly. You could approach the story in the game as Bruce Wayne or Batman, and everything is just tailored around that. The storyline is so solid. The gameplay is really fun. It's not that interactive, but I'm still enjoying it overall.
Wait, who wants to go in as Bruce Wayne instead of Batman?
Well, that's an interesting question. If you listen, just hear me out, okay? Just hear me out. It's so interesting because like I don't know, they put you in the mind of Bruce and they put you in the mind of Batman, and like you've seen both before, and the story's been told over and over again, but it's so different, and you have to play it, you have to experience it. So for those that are interested, episode 1 is free right now, so you can go to Steam, download episode 1, check it out, and then hopefully you'll buy the rest of the season, because episode 5 is coming out Tuesday, and you're gonna love it. It's absolutely awesome. And
did they fix all the PC bugs? 'Cause I know when it originally came out, it had like massive bugs.
It did, and I experienced some of them. They weren't terrible. Nothing that like no one's ever seen before. Some lag, some like stuttering between like scenes and stuff like that. But it wasn't like unplayable, And I think a lot of people kind of blew that up, to be honest. But some of the issues that the community was like, oh my God, fix this. They're addressing it, and I think they released an update already. So come episode 5, everything will be in tip-top shape. So, and on the same day, on Tuesday, December 13th, Uncharted 4, they're releasing their new multiplayer mode, Survival. It's not being released per se, but we don't actually know when it's being released exactly, but it is going to be released this week.
Is that like horde mode?
I guess if you want to put it that way, but if you've done like any multiplayer, and I think it was Uncharted 2 and 3, you will definitely feel like right at home with this, because it's just like a more evolved version of that multiplayer, but they've also added like more objectives, and there's a whole like solo mode experience. So on Tuesday, they're going to be releasing some gameplay that they're going to be live streaming, and I'm pretty sure Naughty Dog is live streaming it, and yeah, they are, and I'm pretty sure they're doing it over Twitch. So be sure to check that out on Tuesday. And another new release. I'm sorry, guys, but I have to get this out because Telltale and Telltale and Uncharted. It's just these are my babies. But The Walking Dead season 3 of Telltale is coming out December 20th.
Ooh.
Season 3.
I played the first season. I definitely enjoyed that game. I need to catch up. It was good.
Please catch up so we can have something to talk about in the future together.
Yes,
because it's
for sure.
Yeah, I'm actually writing an article about it. You guys got to check out some of the previous stuff we have on
That's why she brought it up. Self-plug.
Oh, yeah, of course. But, yeah, Clementine makes her reappearance. She's back. She's older. She's wiser. She's more kick-ass. And she's like mature, and it's refreshing. But Telltale made sure that once you get into season 3, it's perfect for new players that have never played season 1, season 2. So it's a fresh story, but also for those that have played, it's a continuation of everything and all the shit that went down in the previous season. So I can't wait to see how they're going to tie all that together. And on top of that, they're releasing episode 1 as like a 2-part series, or not series, but like it's a 2-part like special. So there's going to be 5 episodes in the one season, but episode 1 is going to have part 1 and a part 2. So we'll have like just enough to get us back into the flow of The Walking Dead for the next going into 2017. So really, really excited about all of that.
Awesome. Yeah, well, I'm super excited to see what's coming up for 2017 because there's already too much. Like, I'm already invested in too many things already. So, like, it's gonna be an emotional year for me in video games. But so it looks like we're kind of getting close to our time here. But I just wanted to say thank you to Natalie and Ziggy for joining me today. If you want to follow EloTalk's adventures and information and all sorts of stuff, because Natalie and Ziggy are writers, if you want to read some of their articles, check out our website at EloTalk.com. Find us on Twitter. Find us on the Tumblr. I'm pretty sure we have Tumblr, right? And make sure that if you want to support writers and the content that we make sure to check out our Patreon. We have a really great reward system for those of you who feel like supporting our efforts. We super appreciate those who are joining us and becoming EloCats, as we like to say.
Yeah.
But if you want to support the media that we create and kind of join us as a community member, be sure to check out our Patreon. I didn't know if you all wanted to add anything, but it's the link is patreon.com/EloTalk, and there you can get more information about our rewards and kind of an overview of what we do here online.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you for having me, and yeah, this is great. And happy holidays to everyone out there. We may be able to get something out hopefully before the year's end, right, Justin? Maybe.
Yeah, I hope we do a best of 2016, but like EloTalk, EloChat perspective.
That'll be perfect.
So
absolutely cool,
guys.
All right,
Patreon, do it up.
Yeah, go to
right.
Patreon, be an EloCat, be one of us.
Meow.
All right.
Yeah. Well, happy holidays, everyone. Thanks for listening, and we will see you next episode.
Peace.